Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Radha Govardhana Dari Shri Radhe Radha Govardhana Dari Radha Govardhana Dari Radha Govardhana Dari Shri Radhe Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Giri Govardhan Devagaura Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Devagaura Hari Bo Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri So today we're going to start with a song by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Emona Durmati. Durmati means the wicked mind. Samsara means samsara, this world of birth and death. Bhitare means inside or within. Samsara bhitare. Podiya means? Fallen into. Podiya means fallen into. Achinu means? I have, no, ami means I. Achinu means come, ami. So, we'll repeat these first two lines a few times throughout the song, and on the second page, these first two lines will be at the end. You can show the whole, where's Nanda? Can we show the whole thing there? Is it? Oh, okay, fair enough. Oh, that's okay. All right. So I encourage you to absorb in the meaning of this bhajan by looking at the English translation, which is on the right, of each verse. So if we don't understand the Bengali, we can sing along nicely, but we can also appreciate the meaning by seeing the English as we go through the song. Bobby? Oh, you give the start. Emona Durmati Samsara Bhitare Podiya Achinu Ami Emona Durmati Samsara Bhitare Podiya Achinu Ami Emona Durmati Samsara Bhitare Podiya Davani Jajan Kona Mahajane Davani Kona Davani Jajan Kona Mahajane Davani Jajan Patiyaya Dile Tumi Le Tumi Emona Durmati Samsare Bhitare Podiya Achinu Ami Emona Durmati Samsare Bhitare Doya Kori More Patita Dekia Kohilo Amare Gia Doya Kori More Patita Dekia Kohilo Amare Gia Ohedina Jan Shuno Bhalo Kata Ohedina Jan Shune Bhalo Kata Ohedina Jana Shuno Bhalo Kata Ohedina Jana Shuno Bhalo Kata Ulasita Hobe Hiya Emona Durmati Samsare Bhitare Podiya Achinu Ami Emona Durmati Samsare Bhitare Uriya Chinu Ami Tomare Tarite Sri Krishna Chaitanya Navadipe Avatar Tomarat Tomahino Kota Dinahina Jane Tomahina Kota Dinahina Jane Orite Abhava Pa Korilena Baba Pa Emona Durmati Samsare Bhitare Oriya Achino Ami Vedera Pratigya Rakhivaratare Rukmavana Viprasuta Vedera Pratigya Rakhivaratare Rukmavarna Viprasuta Mahaprabhu Name Nadiya Mataya Mahaprabhu Name Nadiya Mataya Sangai Bhayavaduta Sangai Bhayavaduta Emona Durmati Samsare Bhitare Oriya Chino Ami Emona Durmati Samsare Bhitare Nanda Sutta Jini Chaitanya Gosai Nijanama Koridhan Nanda Sutta Jini Chaitanya Gosai Nijanama Koridhan Tarilo Jagat Tumi O Jaya Tarilo Jagat Tumi O Jai Lohni Japaritran Lohni Emona Durmati Samsare Bhitare Oriya Chino Ami Emona Durmati Samsare Bhitare Oriya Chino Ami Shekhata Shunya Asya Chinat Tomara Charanatale Shekhata Shunya Asya Chinat Tomara Charanatale Bhakati Vinoda Kandiya Kandiya Bhakati Vinod Kandiya Kandiya apana kahini bole apan emona durmati samsare bhitare oriya chinu ami. Can we have the second mic so we can take turns in doing this? I'll read the first one and let's take turns in reading the translation. O Lord, such a wicked mind has brought me into this world, but one of your pure and elevated devotees has come to bring me out of it.
He saw me so fallen and wretched, took pity, and came to me saying, O humbled soul, please listen to this good tiding, for it will gladden your heart.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya has appeared in the land of Navadvip to deliver you. He has safely conducted many miserable souls such as yourself across the sea of worldly existence.
To fulfill the promise of the Vedas, the son of a Brahmana bearing the name Mahaprabhu of golden complexion has descended with his brother the Avaduta Nityananda. Together they have overwhelmed all of Nadia with divine ecstasy.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, who is Krishna himself, the son of Nanda, has saved the world by freely distributing his own holy name. Go also and receive your deliverance.
O Lord, hearing those words, Bhaktivinoda has come weeping to the soles of your lotus feet and tells the story of his life.
Jai Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. So yesterday I got a very nice message from Kishori, Mother Kishori Devadasi, and she said that she'd been reading from Chaitanya Bhagavat up to chapter 8, and it would be nice to go on with chapter 9, which is the manifestation of the opulences of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this pastime, which is called the Mahaprakash, very famous pastime. So this is the, we're going to read today. So actually this is chapter 8 from the Madhya Kanda of the so chapter 8, so let me have a look. No, it is the chapter 9 actually we're looking for. Just one second. Yeah, chapter 9. So is called The Lord's 21-Hour Ecstasy and Descriptions of Sridhar and Other Devotees' Characteristics. It's a very famous pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we'll read this today. It's from Chaitanya Bhagavat. And in this pastime we hear the description of the Abhishek of the Lord. And as Mother Kishori was saying that Kishori Devadasi was saying that it would be nice to read this because tomorrow, of course, is Gaurapanim. And on Gaurapanim, which is the birthday, the appearance day of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we will be doing Abhishek here in the temple. And we can take this pastime into our mind and remember this. When we're doing Abhishek tomorrow, this is actually a example, or this is the Abhishek we're doing is non-different from this Abhishek that was actually done directly to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So reading from Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur's Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Kanda, chapter 9. I pray for the mercy of the devotees to be able to read this pastime and discuss a little bit about these pastimes. As Krishnadas Kaviraj said, one can only, just like a bird can only fly in the sky to the height of what its wings capacity of flying. So I can only give some very small realization of these pastimes, but I'm sure that through the mercy of the acharyas, that will be all purified by hearing these incredible pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Mahaprakash Leela. This is text 1. Gauranidhi Kapata Sannyasi Veshadhari Akila Bhuvana Adhikari. All glories to Gaura, the Lord of the entire universe, who disguised himself by wearing the dress of a sannyasi. All glories to Sri Chaitanya, the son of Jagannath and Sachi. All glories to Gaurasunda, who inaugurated the glorious Sankirtan movement. All glories to the Lord, who is the life of Nityananda and Gadadhar. All glories to the life and wealth of Advaita and Srivas. All glories to the life of Jagadananda and Haridas. All glories to the Lord, who is the abode of Vakreshwara's and Pundarik's love. So these are all the very exalted devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being listed here. All glories to the dear Lord of Vasudeva and Sri Garbha. O Lord, please glance mercifully on the living entities. All glories to Gauranga along with his devotees. By hearing topics about Lord Chaitanya, one obtains devotional service. O brothers, please hear attentively. By the brothers and sisters, of course, generally. O brothers, please hear attentively the topics of the Madhya Kanda regarding how Gaurachandra Mahaprabhu enjoyed his pastimes. Now hear about Lord Chaitanya's Mahaprakash, or great revelation, during which all the Vaishnavas obtained fulfillment of their desires. This pastime is widely known as Shata Prahariya Bhava, or the 21-hour ecstasy. During this period, the Lord manifested his various incarnations. During this pastime, the Lord ate wonderfully, manifested wonderful forms, and awarded the devotional service of Vishnu to one and all. On that day, the devotees gave the Lord Abhishek as the King of all kings. Just want to say some prayers to Spiritual Master, which I haven't done. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. So, just wanted to mention here, to put this into context, these pastimes happened before Lord Chaitanya took sannyas. This is at the house of Srivas Thakur in Navadvip. So the Lord was less than 24 years on the planet. We know that Lord Chaitanya appeared in 1486, according to the standard Gregorian calendar we use now, 1486. So he took sannyas at the age of 24, so in about 1510. So this must have been just at the very start of the 16th century, 1500 and something, that first decade of the 15th century. And just before we go into these pastimes, which are very wonderful, I wanted to just make a note that these pastimes are very much verifiable as historical incidents. They're not just stories, but they're historical incidents that are confirmed by multiple sources. Just like we know that in 1215 or 1218, the Magna Carta was signed, a very famous document was signed in what later became known as England. And we can see in that document, there was many writings of the time that reference that document. We can see it in the whole legal system of the country was affected by that document. We can go to England, we can see the document itself, we can see buildings that were built at that time So there's multiple references, especially contemporaneous references by other historians to that document existing at that time. And this is one of the things that in terms of Shastra or even just history generally, historians will look to see that when a document is written, is it referenced by other documents of that same time? And if somebody claims that something was written at a certain time, but there's no reference by anybody of any of the other documents, any of the other historical, historical writings of that time, then there's not that much evidence for it. Now, in the case of the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so in one sense, one aspect is that it's distinguished from some pastimes of representatives of God, of incarnations or gurus, whose pastimes were written down sometimes generations later through what was heard orally. Some of the writings sometimes 200 years after the appearance of the Son of God, etc. In the case of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so on that level, many of these pastimes we're hearing were actually written down by Murari Gupta in his diaries, as referenced by Krishnadas Kaviraj in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and also in the diaries of Raghunath Das Goswami. These two especially are referenced by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, as they were actually there on the day and they wrote down, this is what we saw, this is what happened on that day, the Lord did this, his devotees did that, like that. It's written down. And also, there's so many contemporaneous references in the culture and the history of Bengal, even just the mundane history books about the effect Lord Chaitanya had on the country. Even if you go to Wikipedia, if you look up the Pandya kings, Pandya, Maharaj Prataparudra, you'll see a whole writing there on the Pandya kings that ruled from Jagannath Puri all the way down through to parts of South India in the 16th, 15th and 16th centuries. And you'll see written there that one of the reasons that their lineage died down after Maharaj Prataparudra and then his son Purushottam Dev, that one of the reasons given in the general history books is that the kings became so enamored and so devoted to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that they couldn't really get the anger and aggression up anymore to go out and conquer all these different kings, which is what you have to do if you want to maintain an empire. And gradually they became more or less kind of more interested in spiritual topics. This is right in the Wikipedia, is right there, and in all the general history books. There's so many writings of the time about the effect of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the culture and the history of Bengal of the time, of what he did. So there's no reason for us to doubt this. If we are happy to sit in school or sit on Wikipedia or sit on YouTube and accept that the Magna Carta was written in 1218, there was the Battle of Hastings happened here, and all of these things, 1200, this is only 1500, this is only 500 years ago. It was written down by the people who saw these incidents, and it was verified by many other people who were there and who have written about the effect of Lord Chaitanya, what he did. So there's no reason to doubt these things unless we're going to doubt all of the history that we hear in all our history books. But this is and in fact, I personally would believe this more, because the people writing this have no material thing to gain by that. They're not writing the history to support their political viewpoint or that their race or that their nation is superior. They're simply writing to benedict the world with the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So I just wanted to speak a bit about that before we go into the pastimes. These are historical pastimes here. One day, text 12, one day, Sri Gaura Sundara Mahaprabhu came to the house of Srivas Pandit. He was accompanied by the most restless Nityananda Chandra. Gradually all the devotees gathered there. The heart of Gauranga Mahaprabhu was absorbed in ecstasy. Manifesting his supreme opulences, he looked in the four directions. Understanding the indication of the Lord, the devotees began loud kirtan from all sides. On other days, the Lord would dance in the mood of a servant and would only momentarily manifest his opulences before withdrawing them. So we know that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to manifest and experience himself the mood or the bhava of his most highest devotee, and in general his devotees, the mood of his devotees, the mood of the one in the dependent position, right? Shriradhara bhava lada chaitanya avatar jugadharma nama prema kaila prachar. He came to experience the mood of Srimati Radharani, the servant of the Lord and the highest servant of the Lord, and also to spread his holy name, Jugadharma, as the prime, most foundational spiritual process for this age. Harinam Sankirtan. So the Lord came and he manifested this mood as a devotee primarily. So we can see here, on other days he would always, even though momentarily his opulence as the Supreme Personality, the master of all energies, would come out, then he would quickly withdraw that and he would stay. But this day was different. While dancing on this day, however, text 19, the Lord made all the devotees fortunate by going up and sitting on the throne of Lord Vishnu. On other days, when the Lord had manifested his ecstasy and sat on the throne of Vishnu, he had acted like he was unaware of his actions. But during this Sata Prahariya Bhava, the Lord gave up all pretension and revealed his glories for 21 hours. So this is a very unique pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's showing us that the living entity can never be the Lord. The Lord and the living entity are different. They're eternally different. Nityo nityanam chaitanas chaitananam eko bahunam yo vidadhati kaman. In the Vedas it is said, Nityo nityanam. Nityo means one, eternal. Nityanam, there are many eternals. Chaitanas, there's one conscious being. Chaitananam, and there are many other conscious beings. Eko bahunam. Eko means one, bahunam of the many. Eko bahunam yo vidadhati kaman, fulfilling the desires. So there is one eternal conscious entity, the Supreme Lord, and he, the Supreme Lord, is fulfilling the desires of all the unlimited other living entities. There is a distinction. It is not that all is one. This idea that all is one Brahman, this is the first stage in spiritual liberation. Just to understand that everybody is beyond the material variety. Everyone has a soul beyond material variety. This is the first stage. Brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabrite. But beyond this situation of having eternal existence that is beyond the changes of this flickering body, beyond that there is also a paramatma feature that lives in everyone's heart, and beyond that there's a Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is distinct, the Supreme Lord and the living entities. So Lord Chaitanya was very, very careful, and when he was sometimes said, oh, you are Vishnu, he would block his ears and say, no, the living entity can never be Vishnu. Do not say such a thing. But in this time, this very unique pastime, he gave up all pretension and revealed his glories as the Supreme Lord. So this is a very celebrated pastime by the devotees of the Lord, because this is the time Lord Chaitanya himself came and sat on the altar. Just like here we're worshipping Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, we're worshipping him as the Supreme Lord. So this is actually the mood that we are worshipping the Lord in, this Mahaprakash Leela. Text 20, all the devotees felt great ecstasy as they stood before the Lord with folded hands. How wonderful were their feelings of satisfaction. Everyone felt like they were enjoying in Vaikuntha. The Lord also sat like the Lord of Vaikuntha. Not even a tinge of illusion was present there. The Lord ordered, recite the prayers for my Abhishek. in Bengali, Agyaya Hola, Bala Mora Abhisheka Gita. Lord Chaitanya is saying, recite the prayers for my Abhishek. On hearing this, the devotees happily recited. On hearing the Abhishek prayers, the Lord rolled his head and without duplicity glanced mercifully on everyone. The devotees understood the Lord's indication and decided to perform the Abhishek ceremony. So by the Lord saying, recite the Abhishek prayers, He's inviting them. Okay, I'm going to now maintain this mood, my eternal mood as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I'm going to give up this pretense for a little while that I'm a devotee of the Lord, and I'm actually going to manifest my opulence as the Lord of Vaikuntha, and you can perform Abhishek to me and get all blessings. So the devotees understood the hint of the Lord, and then they started bringing all the paraphernalia for the Abhishek. So this is what we'll be performing tomorrow right here. So make sure you don't miss the Abhishek. It's a very beautiful performance, and the Lord gives special blessings during the Abhishek ceremony. Text 27. Thereafter they joyfully prepared for the Abhishek by mixing camphor and 4 other ingredients in the water. The tumultuous sound of Jai, Jai was heard in the 4 directions as everyone began to recite the Abhishek mantras. First, Sri Nityananda chanted, Jai, Jai, as he happily poured water on the head of the Lord. Exalted devotees, headed by Advaita and Srivas, bathed the Lord while reciting the Purusha Shukta mantras. These are very wonderful Purusha, these are Vedic mantras, special Vedic mantras. Om Sahasrasisha Purusha, etc. It goes on. Chanting these Purusha Shukta mantras, and you can read about this in the Krishna book, when Lord Brahma went to the ocean of milk to petition the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kshirodakshai Vishnu. He was chanting these mantras, the Purusha Shukta. So it's significant that these were the mantras they chanted. Normally they were just chanting Jai Sachinandan like this. All glories to the Lord of Sachi. They weren't directly saying that He is the Lord of Vaikuntha, He is Lord Vishnu. But here they started chanting the Purusha Shukta prayers, and Lord Chaitanya accepted their worship in this way. The devotees of Gauranga, text 31. The devotees of Gauranga were expert in chanting mantras. As they recited mantras, they joyfully poured water on the Lord. Devotees headed by Mukunda sang auspicious Abhishek songs. As some devotees cried, some danced, and some became overwhelmed in ecstasy. If you listen to the wonderful series called Following Srila Prabhupada, which is 12 different 3-hour-long presentations, just incredible. You can absorb yourself in them. You can find them on YouTube. Following Srila Prabhupada. Wonderful if you're at home and you just want to chill out and relax a bit and have some spiritual vibration. Following Srila Prabhupada. You can check it on YouTube. And there's parts of that where devotees actually describe some of the kirtans that are with Srila Prabhupada, where he just went into a spiritual ecstasy in the kirtan. He was chanting, and all the devotees, they just started crying, like in spiritual ecstasy. They were just started bawling in the ecstasy of the presence of the Lord in His holy name. So even in the pastimes just here, like 50 years ago with Srila Prabhupada, and some Prabhupada disciples will know this and experience this, that the pure devotee of the Lord can also manifest this Vaikuntha atmosphere of pure love for Krishna. So in this atmosphere, when Lord Chaitanya was accepting this worship, the devotees were crying and just in complete ecstasy, falling and totally overwhelmed with the experience of love of God, Krishna Prema, beyond this world and beyond the emotions of this world. Text 33. The chaste women made auspicious sounds as everyone's hearts filled with ecstasy. The Lord of Vaikuntha sat on the throne, as all the devotees poured water on his head. As a formality, there were supposed to be 108 pots of water, but thousands of pots could not actually hold all that water. Fortunate demigods assumed the form of human beings and secretly took part in the Abhishek ceremony. If one offers even a drop of water at the lotus feet of the Lord in meditation, what to speak of directly? He is never subjected to the punishment of Yamaraj. That Lord was now directly accepting water from everyone. The servants and maidservants of Srivas brought water and also bathed the Lord. This is a result of serving the devotees. We see here that we may not know Krishna directly. How can we know Krishna? How can we know Lord Chaitanya? But we can know the devotees, we can know our spiritual master. There was one famous disciple of Ramanujacharya, I believe his name was Kuresh, and he was once, Ramanujacharya was having darshan of the Lord, and this devotee was standing with his back to the Lord, looking at Ramanujacharya. And Ramanuja said to him, "Why are you standing with your back to the Lord?" Or maybe some other disciples asked him later, "You shouldn't stand with your back to the Lord. Why are you just looking?" And he said, "I don't know the Lord. I don't know Krishna. I don't know Lord Vishnu. I only know my spiritual master. It's only through my spiritual master that I can actually reach to the Lord, that I can please the Lord." We know in Padma Purana, Lord Shiva is described as saying, "Aradhananam sarvesham Vishnu aradhanam param tasmat parataram devi tadiyanam samacharam." That the highest worship is definitely the worship of Lord Vishnu, as Lord Shiva says there. But actually higher than that even. Aradhanam sarvesham Vishnu aradhanam param tasmat parataram, para, or superior to that, Devi, my dear Devi. He's talking to his wife. He's explaining to his wife the spiritual principles, one of the duties of the husband to explain to the wife, and also duties of the wife to explain to the husband and give the husband spiritual instruction, spiritual guidance. Is what makes the married life very strong, when husband and wife both have a strong spiritual focus and they're helping the other person, the other one, to understand these things. Tasmat parataram devi tadiyanam. Tadiya means like tadiya is like your ring, your watch, your chada, like the what's it called, what's the English word? Tadiyanam. Like the accessories or the things associated with that person, right? And so in this sense, Tadiyanam means his devotees. Tadiyanam samacharam, the highest worship, higher than even Lord Vishnu, is worship of his devotees. So here is said, the servants of maidservants of Srivas. So the household servants, people who are helping, just like today we have. Even today, people will help with various things that they might come and do cleaning or whatever. Even in Australia we have, but all over the world, there's servants, and actually employees basically means servants. That's what we're talking about when we say servants. In this context, we basically mean employees. People are employed or being maintained. So they may have been employees of so many people, but they happen to be employed in the service of Srivas. So because they were serving a devotee, they ended up bathing the Lord, getting the direct spiritual benefit. So this is the result of serving the devotees. Shortcut, direct, to please the Lord. Please his devotees, serve his devotees, help his devotees, somehow or another. Text 40. One most fortunate maidservant named Dukhi brought water for the Lord, who encouraged her by saying, bring water. So Lord Chaitanya is encouraging her. He's not saying, only the brahmanas come, only the pure Suchi. She was a servant. She had a job in Srivas' household. He encouraged her, saying, bring the water. On seeing her devotional service, text 41, the Lord changed her name from Dukhi to Sukhi. Dukhi means one who is unhappy, and Sukhi means one who is happy. So all the devotees bathed the Lord while chanting Vedic mantras, and then they dried his body. Then they dressed him in new cloth, applied fragrant sandalwood paste on his transcendental body. They cleaned Vishnu's throne, and the Lord then sat down on it. Lord Nityananda held an umbrella over the Lord's head, and some fortunate soul fanned him with a chamara. Then all the devotees began to offer various items of worship at the lotus feet of their Lord. They offered water for washing the feet, and this is what we can meditate on tomorrow too. When we see the Abhishek going on and there's various items being offered to the Lord. So this is actually performed directly in this pastime. And if we have the eyes to see it, if we have bhakti and devotion, Krishna also will manifest directly to us here. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena shanta sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shama sundaram achintya guna swarupam govindam adi purusham tam aham bhajami. In Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma explains Prema Anjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena, that when one's eyes are covered with they're filled with the salve, the ointment of love of God, Prema Anjana, the ointment of Prema, when one is seeing through the eyes of love of God, not seeing through the eyes of the material lust, trying to control, trying to enjoy, trying to make something out of this material world, make oneself big in this material world. When one's not have any calm but have the Prema Anjana, when one's looking through the eyes of love, Prema Anjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena, one has that bhakti, that devotion to the Lord. Shanta, the peaceful devotees, Sadaeva, always, Hridayanti Hridayeshu Vilokayanti, they see the Lord in their heart. So for the pure devotees, they're seeing Krishna directly in these worshipping of the Lord on the altar, performing Abhishek to his deity form. They see no non-difference. So we're not at that stage, no doubt. We are aspiring to become purer devotees, and possibly by the Lord's mercy in some future time we may aspire to be a pure devotee. But we're definitely not there yet. But we can learn from this how the pure devotees see. We can learn from this pastime of what it was like offering those items to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly, the Lord directly. And tomorrow when we're offering these items, we can try to remember that, try to keep that in our heart, that mood. And if we have that mood, then the Lord will also reciprocate with our mood. He will directly reciprocate with His divine love, His divine blessing. Text 47, they offered water for washing his feet, auspicious ingredients to the hand, water for washing the mouth, sandalwood paste, flowers, incense, lamps, foodstuff, and cloth. According to their capacity, they offered Brahman thread, clothes, and ornaments. In this way, they worshipped the Lord with 16 ingredients. The devotees dipped tulsi manjaris in sandalwood paste and repeatedly offered them at the lotus feet of the Lord. After worshipping the Lord according to the rules and regulation prescribed for chanting the 10-syllable Gopal mantra, they offered prayers. All the Lord's principal associates, headed by Advaita, fell at the Lord's feet and offered obeisances. Tears of love flowing from the eyes of the devotees, the Lord sincerely listened as they offered the following prayers. There's many prayers here. All glories to the reservoir, transcendental qualities, deliverer of the fallen souls. All glories to the supreme shelter and the friend of the poor. The devotees offered many prayers. Okay, I'll read a couple. I just wanted to get into, we only have 7 minutes left, so I just want to get into some of that. But let's read a couple for sure. All glories to the cowherd boy who lives in the ocean of milk. All glories to the Lord who manifests his pastimes for the sake of his devotees. I'll say this Bengali here because it's very nice in Bengali. Jaya Jaya Achinchya Agamya Adi Tattva Jaya Jaya Parama Komala Shuddha Sattva Jaya Jaya Viprakula Pavana Bhushana Jaya Veda Dharma Adi Sabhara Jivana. All glories to the Lord who is the inconceivable, unfathomable and original truth. All glories to the Lord who is the most gentle form of pure goodness. All glories to the Lord who is the ornament and deliverer of the Brahmana community. All glories to the Lord who is the life and soul of all, including the Vedic principles. Jaya Jaya Ajamila Patita Pavana Jaya Jaya Putana Dushkriti Vimochana. All glories to the deliverer of the fallen Ajamil. All glories to him who liberated Putana of her sins. All glories to him who does not see the faults of others and who is the beloved Lord of Lakshmi. In this way all the exalted devotees offered their prayers. Wonderful quality of the Lord. He doesn't see the faults of others. Interesting, this came directly after the Putana glorification, because with Putana, the Lord accepted that she had some affection for him from previous lifetime, from the pastime of Bali Maharaj. But at the same time, she had some malefic desires as well. She had some sinful desire. So he didn't see the faults. He took the what is it called? Bhava Graha Janadana, isn't it? He takes the mood of the devotee, right? He leaves the rest. He's not interested in that. A good lesson for us. We want to become in the Lord's association. We don't need to see the faults of others. Where there's so many faults in the world, we can pick out, no doubt, and stay in this world and keep picking out faults forever. Yes, we can do that, no problem. But the Lord, He doesn't see the faults of others, right? Jaya Jaya Adosha Darashi. Adosha, no faults. Darshi, He sees, right? So we don't need to see the faults of others unless it's our direct service. If we have the service to find the faults, I'm supervising the temple cleaning and one of the people didn't clean properly and there's some rubbish here. We have to say, my dear Prabhu, my dear Devi, Mataji, some dirt is left here. Very humbly we can point that out if that's our service, right? But if it's not our service, we don't need to see the faults. We don't need to worry about what others are doing so much. There's other devotees given that service, they can do that. Let them do that. So in the Lord's association, we can see this is the quality of the Lord. Adosha Darshi. All glories to Him who does not see the faults of others, and who is the beloved Lord of Lakshmi. So in the same way, they're saying, in the same breath, they're saying, He doesn't see the faults of anyone, but He's the Lord of Lakshmi, the most auspicious Lakshmi Devi, the wealth of everything, all the wealth. He is in control of all wealth, and He doesn't, He's in control of all love, all wealth, but He doesn't find faults in anyone else. Text 62, seeing the supreme manifestation of the Lord's form, all His servants merged in an ocean of bliss. Lord Gaurachandra spontaneously extended His lotus feet, which were worshipped by all the devotees. Someone brought fragrant sandalwood paste, which He smeared on those lotus feet. Someone else offered tulsi manjaris in worship. Someone offered ornaments made of gold, silver, and gems at His lotus feet, and then offered obeisances. Everyone offered obeisances, while white, blue, and yellow silk cloth were offered at the Lord's lotus feet. They offered various types of metal containers, no one knew how many people fell at his lotus feet. The lotus feet that all living entities, beginning with Brahma, Lakshmi and Shiva, desired to worship were now being worshipped by the servants and maidservants of the Vaishnavas. This is the result of serving the Vaishnavas. They fearlessly offered fresh grass, paddy and tulsi at the lotus feet of the Lord. Some of them brought various kinds of fruits which they offered at his lotus feet, while some offered sandalwood paste and flowers at the Lord's lotus feet. Someone was inspired to worship with 16 ingredients, while someone was inspired to worship with 6 ingredients. Everyone joyfully offered musk, kumkum, camphor and red powder at the Lord's lotus feet. You'll see the red powder tomorrow being offered, the Lord's lotus feet, during the Abhishek. Those lotus feet and toenails were decorated with various flowers such as champak, malika, kunda, kadamba and malati, as the crest jewel of Vaikuntha manifested his opulences. He said, "Give me something to eat. Kichu deha kai." Give me something to eat. Have you got something to eat? All the devotees saw the Lord extend his palm. Wherever the devotees offered, the Lord ate. Whatever the devotees offered, the Lord ate. Someone offered bananas, someone offered soaked mung dal, others offered yogurt, condensed milk, butter, milk. The devotees gave all these items directly into the hands of Mahaprabhu, who sincerely ate everything. Everyone ran from street to street and brought the finest items, which they quickly brought back to the Lord. So the word had gotten out. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he's manifesting the Lord of, as the Lord of Vaikuntha. He's accepting our worship directly. Come, make an offering to him. Someone mixed coconut pulp with sugar and placed it directly into the Lord's hand. They brought an abundance of various sweets, which the Lord took in his hands and ate. Some very wonderful omen has come, that the prasadam prayers are being chanted just as we're talking about the Lord accepting all of these items that are offered to him, and now we can go and taste the remnants of the Lord, and we'll continue this pastime another day. Jai Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Mahaprakash Leela ki jai, Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai, Gaurapanim ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.